Hello everyone, I am Father Time, and this is a quick little plugin review. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a plugin review. This is actually just a quick utility tool that I threw together for some of my players on the MC Apocalypse server that were interested in creating Hunger Games maps for us. I'm extremely interested in what's going on there. Extremely interested in creating Hunger Games maps for our server. However, we wanted a certain standard to them so that as people went from one map to another, that they would, see a certain pattern and be familiar with certain aspects of the map. Most specifically, the size of the map and the fact that they're all contained within a glass dome. And if you were to give people the ability to do that on their own, you would get different sized domes that were at different altitudes, and it wouldn't be as easy to code on the, or excuse me, as easy to work with on the code side, and frankly, they wouldn't look as nice. So I decided to try to make a venture into custom map generators to see if I could figure out a way to make a generator that would do it all. Basically, what they were designed to do is create the glass bubble. Um, that is, I believe, 195 blocks in radius. Um, Actually, that would be diameter, so it'd be what? So close to 4. Oh, I'm so bad at math right now. That'd be 390 diameter. So they're fairly large. And then what I ended up doing was making it so that it'll make the glass jar, and then it'll use the seed that you provide it to fill the glass jar with whatever terrain would naturally be in that seed's biome. So I'll go ahead and just show you how this tool works now. I wanted to make it as simple for you guys as possible, so it's really only 3 commands. And actually, it's only 2 to use, but the third one's a utility one, just to make your life a little bit easier. So let's get right to it. So the first command that we're going to do is how we generate the world. So before we move forward, what you should do is think of a seed that you want to use, and I'll just make one up arbitrarily. So the command that we're going to use is this one right here. MG for map generator, gen for generate the map, and then we're going to give the map a name, one word, 16 characters max. So I just called it Spark. That was the first thing that came to mind. And 55468 is just a random number I threw out there. That's what's called a seed. It'll use that number to create the random terrain. So we're going to click that. And one thing I want to point out is remember that these world generations are actually quite hefty on processing, and they will what would that lag the server out for a few seconds. But remember, that's why I gave you this tool, is it's supposed to be used on your own private server by yourself anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. So we'll go ahead and load it, or excuse me, run the command, and you'll see it's generating it. And it'll probably take, on my computer, about 10 seconds or so. There it goes. On most other computers, that'll probably take more, from anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, but don't worry, even though it locks up, that's how it should work, and it'll free up eventually. So you'll notice once it's finished running, it'll tell you you've generated the Spark world, and in order to get there, you run the command mg warp spark. So we'll go ahead and try that now. We'll go mg warp spark, and what this command will do is teleport you to the dead center of your new world at absolute 0, 0, and 60. Actually, not 60, it's just whatever the highest coordinate is in this world. And here we are. So you'll notice if you look around, keep in mind we just generated this world. This is absolutely brand new, but yet you can see it already has a glass bubble around it as desired. And that's what we talked about. We wanted to keep that looking nice, clean, perfect shaped, and to allow people to freely use World Edit to do that it would create a whole bunch of different ones. And then you'll notice if we look below us, it's not fake terrain. This is actually 100% legitimate Minecraft terrain. You can see there's caves there, rivers that have formed, different biomes, the full 9 yards. So the only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't run the populator afterwards, and I could make it do that. And by the way, the populator is what adds trees and things of that nature. But we're going to be designing on top of this anyways, so I figured I'd leave the trees out of the way so we don't have to cut them down. You can put the buildings and then afterwards just, plop down some saplings or use the tree gen commands or something of that nature. But it's easier to put trees after you build things than it is to remove the trees to build things, in my opinion. So that's why I left those out. And yeah, as you can see as we fly over here, there's a biome change right there, so you can actually legitimately see that this is just like any other world creation. There are separations in these, and remember that seed that we used earlier, I believe for this world, where was it? I don't see the command, but it was like 58642 or something. If you change that number, everything in here would be completely different. Sometimes it's purely an ocean, sometimes it's a desert, you name it. Um, and then keep in mind, this is a very simple plugin. I made this in about an hour, so bear with me. The mathematics behind the biome generating is actually a little bit difficult, but everything else is pretty simple. But one thing I did want to point out, if you're building inside and say you make a structure that has glass windows, one thing I added to this plugin is I don't want people to, like, while they're building, like say you're working down here for instance and you're knocking blocks away and you accidentally punched one of the outside. I didn't want people to be able to misshape the dome and try to put it back manually and not get it right, and so you could see inconsistencies. So you'll notice as I try to break it there, it won't let me. It'll say you can't do it. Now, if for whatever reason you just are absolutely bent on doing it, you can use a blaze rod to get out there if you needed to do something, because it won't give you that message when you use blaze rod. But again, I ask that you please do not do that. I want these to stay 100% the shape that they are, and the reason I put that blaze rod in is more so that if you're, like I stated, building a house inside here and midway through the construction, it'll give that same error, which is kind of annoying if you don't have a way to remove it. So, I'm building a house, I put a window down, all of a sudden I realize, oh, I don't want the window there. Well, that would be annoying. So I at least put a backup way so that you can get rid of it for construction reasons. But as far as the dome goes, please leave that be. So yeah, and again, to, get back to another world, you would, just whatever your default world is. Most Minecraft servers are called worlds, so you would just do, world gen, or what is it? Map generator. That shows you how new the plugin is. I just made it, I don't remember my own commands. And then for mine, it's Valhalla, so that's, that would take me there. And, except it would help if I put the actual command in, wouldn't it? Warp. There we go. And there we go. So this unfortunately doesn't do any preloading or anything, so that's why that took a few seconds. So yeah, that's that plugin. I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the forum post regarding map generations, and you guys can download it at will. And all you have to do to install this onto your private server is just to open up your Minecraft server directory, and inside there will be a folder that says plugins. Just drop the jar file that's attached to the forum post in that jar, into that folder, and run the server, and you will have this plugin. So just so you know, the other command I was talking about that's utility would be map generator where. If you type that in, it'll just give you your current coordinates and the name of the world that you're in. Nothing spectacular. It's just, unfortunately, there is no way to know what actual world you're in default vanilla Minecraft, and every so often when I'm teleporting between them, grass is grass. I can't figure out which one I'm in sometimes. So I just added that in there so you could tell which one you're in. Another thing I definitely want to note is that the world generator, when you warp in, if the world's not loaded and it attempts to load it, and if you type in the wrong name, so say you named it Spark and you typed in Spank or something like that, it will generate a whole new world. And so be careful to make sure that when you teleport to the worlds that you name the worlds correctly. That's not because of my code, that's the way that Bukkit works. Whenever you try to load a world, if the world doesn't exist, it generates one. So, just make sure that you pay attention to that. We could have added more checks in, but again, this is supposed to be a very simple tool, guys. It's not polished. I polished it for you because I know you're new to development, the people that are this plugin specific for. But it's about as much as I'm going to polish this turd. It's meant to be just a utility. So, if there's any bugs in it, let me know and I'll fix it up. But what I've given you here should be 100% more than adequate for what you need. So, yeah. Again, my name is Father Time, and this has been a quick review of the Map Generator plugin for the MC Apocalypse server. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.